All right, so we're diving into the book of Exodus today. And you've brought like this, amazing collection of excerpts, like the ultimate highlight reel of like one of history's most impactful stories ever.
And it's really amazing how Exodus, even like thousands of years later, still like resonates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not just an ancient story.
Right.
It's like a roadmap of a people's journey from like oppression to liberation.
Totally. And today we get to unearth all the details that make it like truly captivating.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning with a baby in a basket floating down the Nile River.
Classic.
Talk about an entrance.
Yeah.
Moses, like, saved from certain death by the Pharaoh's daughter, only to grow up and like discover his true Hebrew heritage.
Right.
That's got to create some serious inner turmoil, right?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine living with that secret, like raised in the lap of luxury, surrounded by the power of Egypt, but knowing your people are suffering under its weight.
Yeah.
That duality must have like shaped Moses profoundly.
Yeah.
He's seen like the glitz and the glamour of the palace, but also the brutal reality of oppression.
Yeah, a privileged upbringing, but with a front row seat to injustice.
Totally.
And speaking of injustice, you pointed out that story about the shepherdesses at the well.
Right.
I admit, on like my first read through, I was kind of like, why include this?
Yeah.
But now I'm like, wait, there's more to it.
Yeah.
I'm sensing there's more to it.
Right. It's easy to skim past it, but that's like the brilliance of Exodus.
Right.
Every detail matters.
Okay.
See, it's not just about Moses helping out.
Yeah.
It's about him defending those who can't defend themselves.
Right.
This inherent sense of justice. It's like a premonition of the leader he's going to become.
Like a sneak peek at his internal compass already pointing him towards protecting the vulnerable.
Exactly. And that protective instinct, it like explodes to the surface in a much more dramatic way with that pivotal moment when Moses kills the Egyptian.
Right.
He sees an Israelite being beaten and reacts instantly.
Wow.
There's no hesitation, just pure visceral instinct to protect his own.
It's like that deep-seated sense of justice, that fire we saw at the well just erupts.
Yes.
But this time the stakes are much, much higher.
Oh, yeah. Way higher.
Yeah.
And he pays the price for it.
Right.
This rash act of defiance forces him to flee Egypt, to become a fugitive in the wilderness. But think about it. Those years in Midian alone with his thoughts and his regrets, that's where the real transformation begins.
He's forced to confront his past, his identity, his purpose.
Totally.
It's like that saying, sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Sometimes the most desolate places can lead to like the most profound self-discoveries.
Right.
And for Moses, that desolate place was the wilderness of Midian.
Yeah.
But it wasn't exactly a peaceful retreat, was it?
Right. Enter the burning bush.
Yeah.
Possibly the most iconic shrub in all of history.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine tending your sheep and suddenly a bush is on fire, but it's not burning up.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'd be questioning my sanity.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like, what is going on?
It's a moment that makes you question everything you thought you knew about the world, right?
Yeah.
And the burning bush is more than just a cool special effect. It's a theophany, a visible manifestation of the divine.
Right.
There are so many ways to interpret it.
Okay, so walk me through some of those interpretations. What are the different, like, layers of meaning that people have found in this fiery bush?
Well, some scholars see it as a symbol of God's presence amidst suffering.
Okay.
Think about it. The bush burns, but it isn't consumed. It endures the flames, but it isn't destroyed.
Right.
It's a powerful metaphor for resilience in the face of hardship.
So, like, when you feel completely burnt out, but you still have to keep going.
Exactly.
You're saying the burning bush could be a symbol of that, like, inner strength to persevere.
Totally. And then there's the interpretation that connects the burning bush to the Israelites themselves, oppressed but not destroyed by their suffering in Egypt. They, like the bush, are enduring hardship but are not defined by it.
Okay, that's a really interesting parallel.
Yeah.
And it's in this moment of, like, awe and bewilderment that Moses hears God's voice calling out to him.
Right.
But even with a burning bush as his hype man,
Yeah.
Moses is still hesitant.
Yeah.
He's like, who am I to do this?
Yeah.
I feel like we've all been there at that moment when you're faced with a challenge and that little voice of self-doubt starts whispering in your ear.
Absolutely. Classic imposter syndrome. We see it time and time again, even in the most extraordinary individuals.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget, God is asking Moses to go up against Pharaoh, one of the most powerful rulers on earth.
Right. It's like asking someone to give a presentation when they're terrified of public speaking.
Exactly.
So how does Moses get past this fear? What does God say to convince him?
Well, first, God reassures Moses promises to be with him every step of the way.
Okay.
And then there's that pivotal moment where God reveals his name to Moses, Yahweh.
Right.
And this isn't just any name, it's the personal, intimate name of God.
Right.
It signifies a deep personal relationship, a covenant.
It's like going from addressing someone as Mr. Smith to calling them by their nickname.
Exactly.
It implies a closeness, a level of trust and intimacy.
Right.
So this is a huge moment in the Old Testament.
Absolutely. Before this, God was often seen as this distant, powerful, maybe even a little bit unknowable force.
Right.
But with the revealing of Yahweh, we see a whole different side of God, a God who's personally invested in humanity, who forms bonds, who keeps promises.
Wow, that completely changes the game. So armed with this new understanding of God and a pep talk from the big guy himself, Moses finally feels brave enough to face Pharaoh.
He does.
But I'm guessing Pharaoh's not exactly throwing a welcome home party for him.
No, he is not.
Like, hey, Moses, good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on in.
Not so much.
To chat.
Pharaoh is about as receptive to Moses' message as you'd expect from a ruler who's used to getting his way.
Right.
He flat out refuses to let the Israelites go, and that's when things get really, really biblical.
Cue the plagues. And we're not talking about a few minor inconveniences here.
No, we're not.
This is a full-on divine smackdown.
It's like God looked at Pharaoh's stubbornness and said, oh, you want to play hardball? Game on.
Yeah.
Each plague is a display of power, a challenge to Pharaoh's authority.
And each one is more dramatic and devastating than the last. Blood frogs, boils, locusts, you name it. Egypt was dealing with it.
The Nile turning to blood, I can't even imagine.
It's just rough.
And it all builds to that final pivotal moment, the Passover.
Right.
It's an event that's still celebrated by Jewish communities worldwide thousands of years later.
Just still so powerful.
What makes it so enduring, so central to Jewish identity?
The Passover marks the moment when God delivers the Israelites from slavery.
Right.
A definitive act of liberation.
Yeah.
It's a story of resilience, hope, and the unwavering belief in a better future.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, even when it seems like there's no way out, hope can emerge.
And it does.
And the Passover also introduces those powerful themes of sacrifice and redemption that echo throughout the Bible and beyond.
Oh.
But even after such a miraculous escape, the journey isn't over for the Israelites, is it?
Not even a little bit. The Exodus isn't just about escaping physical slavery. It's about transitioning to freedom.
Right.
And that's a whole other journey.
Yeah.
Imagine the feeling, generations shackled, and now suddenly they're walking towards freedom.
Yeah.
This is where the real Exodus begins.
It's like stepping out of your comfort zone, but like times 1,000.
Right.
I mean, they're leaving behind everything they've ever known, facing the unknown, with only like the promise of a better future guiding them.
And like any journey worth taking, it comes with its challenges.
Oh, yeah?
They face hunger, thirst, doubt. They even face the temptation to return to Egypt.
Really?
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Being so close to freedom, yet longing for the familiarity of what you once knew, even if it was a place of suffering.
It's that feeling of, well, at least I knew what to expect back there.
Yes.
It makes you realize how deeply we crave security.
Yeah.
Even when it's like the security of a bad situation.
Absolutely.
But thankfully, they don't give in to that temptation. They keep moving forward, and eventually they reach the foot of Mount Sinai.
They do.
And that's where things get really dramatic. Thunder, lightning, smoke. It's like a special effects extravaganza.
Talk about setting the stage, and on that stage, amidst all the drama, God delivers the 10 Commandments.
It's hard to overstate the impact of these commandments.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just ancient rules. They become like foundational to entire ethical systems, shaping moral codes for centuries.
For sure.
Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. These are just religious tenets. They're like universal principles.
It's about laying down the groundwork for a just and compassionate society, something humanity is still striving for today.
Yeah.
But as we all know, rules are made to be broken right.
Oh, yeah. Here comes the golden calf incident. Talk about a U-turn. God has parted seas, rained down plagues, delivered them from slavery. And what do?
I know, right?
They build a golden calf to worship.
It's a stark reminder that we're all human, prone to fear and doubt, even when we've witnessed incredible miracles.
Right.
They were afraid, uncertain about the future, and in that uncertainty, they sought comfort in something tangible, something familiar.
Right.
It's a very human response to fear.
They basically traded one idol for another.
They did.
But what's amazing is that even in their betrayal, God still offers forgiveness. Moses pleads for their lives, and ultimately the covenant is restored. It's a testament to the enduring power of grace and second chances.
It really underscores the depth of God's love and compassion. It's easy to love someone when they're at their best.
Right.
But to love them even when they mess up, that's true grace. And it's a powerful message for us today, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It reminds us that we're all works in progress, capable of great things, but also prone to stumbling.
It's true.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
What matters is that we keep striving, keep learning, and keep seeking that connection with something greater than ourselves.
You've hit the nail on the head. And as we wrap up this incredible deep dive into Exodus, I hope you walk away with not just a better understanding of the story itself,
Right.
but also with a sense of how its themes still resonate with our own lives today.
It's been an incredible journey, from the banks of the Nile to the foot of Mount Sinai. And, as I reflect on it all, I can't help but think about those moments in my own life where I've been called to leave behind my own Egypt, to face my own burning bushes.
We all have them, those moments that challenge us to step outside our comfort zones, to confront our fears and embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
The book of Exodus isn't just a story from the past. It's a guidebook for navigating the uncertainties of life, for finding strength in the face of adversity, and for trusting that even when we stumble, we are never beyond the reach of grace.
Beautifully said. So to our listeners, you continue your own journey. Remember the lessons of Exodus. Embrace the challenges, trust in something greater than yourself, and never underestimate the power of forgiveness and second chances. Because your own personal Exodus, your journey to a more fulfilling and meaningful life, it's just beginning.